into next week, I thought we'd work on reading and vocabulary, things on your phone. Yeah.
Who else doesn't play games?
What? Apps?
Facebook?
They what?
Facebook or?
Well, that app, yeah. So that's well, yes, that's like an app. So games or social media. There's a lot of ways we can use. I would say Facebook would be a social media platform that we use, that some people use. I don't use social media, but I do use my phone. I use my computer. I don't have an iPad, but we use technology a lot. So I thought we'd maybe work on, let's get started for people who are interested, or young engineers who are interested in designing and planning things. This is a really fun article, designing from scratch. So I'll keep that in here. But I thought we would start with technology and talk about someone who was one of the first people to actually have a job. So let's go back up and look. So we're going to talk about this person named Dennis Fong. Dennis Fong. He's the first person to make a living. He's a professional gamer. He's a professional gamer. Who thinks this would be a cool profession or job? Getting paid to design or play games. What do you think? Would this be something any of you would be interested in? Yes? No? Maybe? What do you think, Robin?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty cool, right? To earn a living doing something you like, especially if you love or like technology. So we're going to talk, we'll talk about, we'll read about this person, and then we'll work on, actually, let's look at the vocab. So with each of these articles or reading pieces, we can look at words.
Dominate. Legacy.
And you can click on I can click on it.
Opponent.
You can hear what the word is. And some of you have heard the words. Maybe you think you know what the words are, but you're not sure. So there's word clues in boxes. And we can grab a word and place it and put it where we think it might go. So for example, dominate, another word for dominate might mean control. When you're dominating or in the lead, when you're playing a sport and your team's winning, you're dominating or in control. How about this word?
Opponent.
Any ideas what word is the same or similar to
Enemy.
opponent?
Enemy. Enemy.
Good, good. So enemy or opponent. Yeah. How about the word, or any other words for dominate or opponent besides control or enemy? We have rule, govern, tradition, and antagonist. Any guesses?
We're kind of getting some blurry screens.
Oh, can you see it now? When I slide, it might be pixelated for a second. Is it good now? Your
Yes.
screen looks clear. You look and sound perfect on my end. Yeah, give it a second. Maybe it will just refresh. So when we talk about someone who we're against on the other side, an opponent or an enemy, we can also say there's an antagonist in a story, the bad guy, person who's against the good guy, an antagonist, enemy, opponent. And how about this word legacy? What is your family's legacy? What are some important things in the history of your family?
Heritage
Heritage.
or tradition.
Yeah, very good.
Story.
They're both Yeah, perfect. Yeah, tradition, heritage, things that are old. You might have heirlooms, things that you treasure that are old, um, that have meaning to you or your family. So anyway, these are just a few word bubbles, and you did a good job finding some words that match some of the words in the article. Very good. And at the end, we have a few questions. So let's go back to the passage. I'm going to ask you to help me with some of the reading. So we will start with the first paragraph. We'll do like a paragraph, just a paragraph at a time. And I'll box it in red so you know how much you need to read. So let's read the first paragraph about Dennis. Let's find out about some of the games and some of the things that he was involved in as a professional gamer. Who wants to read? Who wants to read for me? A nice loud reader. My voice is a little bit scratchy still. So I don't know if you want to hear me read, but I can read too if you want. I'd love to hear you read. Any volunteers? William, Owen, Robin? Would you like to read? If you have ever played a video game, you may know names like Mario, Donkey Kong, and Sonic the Hedgehog. But one name you might not be familiar with is Dennis Fong, the first person to make a living as a professional gamer. All right, whose turn? Taman, do you want to read? Nowadays, having a career. You want to give it a try?
Nowadays, having a career in gaming is not so unusual, but back in the mid 1000,
You can say
19, I don't
1990s.
know.
Yeah, that's it. 1990s.
1990s,
You got it. You got it.
making money playing video games was not a distinct career path. This all changed with Dennis Fong.
Very good. All right, so let's find out about this young man, Dennis. So let's find out where he was born and a little more about him. Who would like to read?
Can read.
Go ahead.
Fong was born in Hong Kong and immigrated in the United States when he was 11 years old. Soon after, his family settled in Los Angeles. Fong began playing video games. In the mid-1990s, he won the first tournament. From then on, he began to focus on gaming completely.
Excellent reading. Good job. So yeah, so he's from Hong Kong, but he immigrated and came to the United States when he was young. Very good. More widely known by his username, Fred, Fong used his fast reflexes to guess where his opponents were and dominate, control, or win his games. He was so good that he never lost to anyone during his whole career. Fong's most famous match occurred in 1997 at one of the first national gaming tournaments ever. It was the first tournament for the game Quake. After making it to the finals, Fong won the championship game with a score of 14 against his opponent's score of -1, making it one of the most one-sided gaming matches in history up until that point. All right, let's keep reading. Robin, do you want to give it a try? The next paragraph?
Not only was Fong the best gamer of his era, but he was also responsible for a great amount of innovation within the gaming community. Instead of using arrow keys to move in a game, Fong used the W, A, S, and D keys on the computer keyboard. To this day, many players and video game creators still use these letters. He also co-founded a social networking website for gamers to chat with each other.
So he's involved in other websites and organizing social media groups for people who are excited about gaming. Very good. In the late 1990s, Fong retired from video games due to a couple of reasons. His growing business at that time and wrist pain. What do you think can happen if you use a mouse or you're on your computer a lot? What do you think can happen?
It might hurt.
Yeah, he actually had an injury.
Ouch.
occurred. Yeah, just from using his hands in the keyboard. So even though he stopped playing video games professionally, his legacy in the video game lives on. So he's someone that if you ever studied or looked up info or information about video gaming, you would see his name. His name would come up. In 2016, Fong became the second person to be added to the esports
Esports.
Hall of Fame. Esports, yeah. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, pro gamers.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's on the Hall of Fame. All right, William, do you want to finish the paragraph with the last paragraph here?
Many video game creators have honored Fong in their own games. The most famous example of this can be found in the game League of Legends. One of the characters is named Stretch, a reference to Fong's username. Fong still plays video games in his spare time, and he's proud of many professional gamers that have followed in his footsteps. Many of them hope to get a video game character named after them too.
Yeah, so if you have an interest or something you really enjoy, you could turn it into a career. It could be a career path. It could lead to something interesting and also a way to earn money. So if you've ever thought about doing something with your computer background or knowledge, you might end up being like Dennis. So number one, who wants to read the question and give it a try? Who hasn't had a chance to read? Who's been a little quiet tonight? Seong, do you want to read? What historic first did Dennis Fong accomplish?
What history first did Dennis Fong accomplish?
Thing historic or important in history. Well, we know it's not A, climb the tallest mountain. It didn't mention skateboarding. It did talk about video games.
I think it's B.
It talked about how he began his living or her career as a gamer, a professional gamer. Yeah, very good. So let's see. And you are correct. Good. Number two, who wants to try? How does the author describe Fong as a video game player? What was he? Remember what it said? What was he really good at?
D.
What helped him win?
Very pressure spinner.
E.
Did you say D? D like dog? I wasn't sure if you said D or B.
E.
Can you circle it on the screen? Do you have the tools where you can circle
How to.
the toolbars like I have?
No.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. That way, because sometimes D and B and C. So I'm going to click on. Good. Correct. Good job. And number four, who wants to try number four? What is one way that Fong's legacy, what he's left behind, or the mark that he's made as a gamer, how has his legacy been honored, or his memory of what he did or accomplished? How has it been honored, looked at, or respected? Fong was the second person to be added to the Hall of Fame. Good job. So these are just comprehension questions, short passages. The main idea, what is what is the main idea? What is it mostly about? What's the big idea? A, B, C, or D? Take a minute. The main idea. What's it mostly about? Not a detail, but the big idea or main idea. So we're looking for a big idea, not a small detail. Good. C. Correct. Good job. And let's go back. So good job learning a little bit about a person involved in gaming. For next week, what I thought you could think about, you could write down and share next week, or you could just share next week at the beginning of class, if you could use technology to design or create something, what would it be? What would it help you create? Would you use it for building, engineering? Would you use technology to design games, programs? What would you use? Would it help? Would you use it for entertainment games, for games, like a gamer would use a video game. So if you could use technology to program, design, or create something, what would it be? What would it be? And give me just one example. Give me one example. If you want, you can give me 2 examples. So next week, I'd like each one of you to give me an example. And maybe you're already doing something. Maybe you're already using technology to program, design, create. So maybe you're doing something right now with technology. So maybe you could share, okay? So next week, I'd like to hear from you about technology. And I want to show you some analogies. Let's talk a few analogies. Maybe you could work on a couple analogies. So for example, who wants to help me out with one? I'll give you one as an example. So a sock, whoop, hold on. Yep. Sock is to foot as a glove is to
And
so a sock goes on your foot, a glove goes on your hand. Can you think of any others? About a hat is to your head, your shoe is to
Foot.
your foot. Very good. So I'm just thinking of very basic ones, but you can think of more complicated ones. So maybe between now and next week, you could come up with 1 or 2 sets of analogies. Can anybody think of any right now? It can be synonym words. Large is to small. Opposites. Opposites. Large is to small.
small is too big.
And small is to big. Opposites. Opposites.
Super blurry screens.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry. When I scroll, I don't know why with the vocabulary. Let me go back. How about the, hold on, look at the passage. How does the passage?
I
Does
think
it look
it is your internet problem. So
Do you think?
Okay, so now it's okay.
How about now? Does it look all right?
Yeah, okay.
William, try to read the first paragraph. See if you can, if it's blurry. Can you read it?
yeah, I can read it.
Yeah.
Open up a newspaper, click on a news website, or peel open the last magazine. Chances are you'll find something about the new technology. You may read about the last digital enhancements in smartphones, or maybe something about advancements in green technology. That is how to reduce our environmental impact. Whatever that technology might be, it all started with an idea regarding engineering design.
Yeah, so green technology using sustainable energy. So green technology, how to be eco-friendly. So things that a lot of companies are thinking about for the future, right? Being eco-friendly, ways to help protect and save our planet, right? Very good. Typically, the process of engineering design starts with a problem or a need. So I know we mentioned a blueprint. We need a plan. But before that, we need to address or look at a problem. What's the problem? How can we fix it? So before we design things, we need to think about how we can fix or make a situation better. For example, let's consider the hypothetical, a possibility of building a new apartment complex. Our task is to construct a green, sustainable city building. And after we read next week, I'm going to have each one of you think about that. How would you go about building an apartment building or a place and design? And also, we'll do some analogies. Try to think of a few analogies that you can share for next week. And I'd love it if you could share technology, and if you could use technology to build or make something, what would it be? What would it be? Would it be a game? Would it be a program? Would it be a social media platform? So what types of technology do you use? How does it make your life easier? How does it make your life harder? Tell me about technology. Tell me about what you would like. All right? Thank you, gentlemen.
See you next week.
I will see you
See you next
next week.
week.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.